Welcome to day 20 of our school year. Completed a second row of 10 days. Okay, so we have a total for our beginning fraction of 180 days. That's why it's our denominator, and we're currently on day 20, so that's our numerator. Let's find the factors of our numerator, which is 20. Two factors we always know are 1 and the number itself. Using the commutative property, you can also say 20 times 1. Now we're going to use our divisibility rules and go in an orderly fashion. So after 1, the next number we're going to try is 2. The rule for 2 is that it ends in an even number. 0 is an even number, so 2 is a factor. 2 times 10, 10 times 2. Now we're going to try 3. The rule for 3 is that we add the digits together. 2 plus 0 equals 2. 2 is not a multiple of 3, so 3 is not a factor. We try 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Yes, 20 is in that list of multiples, so 4 is a factor. 4 times 5, 5 times 4. Here we have these two factors. There are no counting or natural numbers between 4 and 5, only fractions and decimals. So since there's no counting or natural numbers, we're done. We get to 5. Let's go ahead and list our factors from least to greatest. 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factors. So that is more than 2 factors, so that means it is composite, because prime is exactly 2 factors. Now we want to try to find our greatest common factor, the one that works for both 20 and 180. So let's start with 20. If that doesn't work, we'll keep working down until we find one that works for both. So let's make our groups of 20. Remember, it doesn't matter what your groups look like, just as long as you have 20 in each group, and you do not have the shaded with the unshaded. So I'm using the fact that each row is 10, and 2 10s make 20, so 2 rows make 20 squares. Counting does work. It takes a little bit longer, but it's better to get to the right answer slowly than the wrong answer quickly. So I'd rather you make sure that what you're doing is precise and correct than just fast. Okay, so every square is in a group. There's no remainder, so that means that 20 is our greatest common factor. So let's count up how many total groups of 20 we have. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 groups, and I have 1 group shaded in. Alright, let's go ahead and prove it with our algorithm. We're dividing by 20. Remember, we always divide by the same number because we didn't make different groups for 20 than we did for 180. And we're going to use our greatest common factor. So 180 divided by 20, and 20 divided by 20. Alright, I know that 20 nickels makes $1, so 20 times 5 is 100. Numbers the same, zeros a game, more on top, no need to stop. See, I'm going to do 2 times 20, because if I double that, I get 40. I use numbers I know I can multiply well with. Numbers the same, zeros a game, more on top, no need to stop. Oh, and I know how to get 40. That's 2 times 20. Numbers the same, zeros a game. Add up my partial quotients. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we've been getting remainders of 0 here because we are using factors, but when we get into division later, it will not always be 0. You just keep going till you can't take another group of the divisor out. Here, 1 times 20 is 20. Numbers the same, zeros a game, and I have 1. I still need to check, which is the divisor times the quotient plus the remainder. Divisor times quotient plus remainder. On both of these, the remainder is 0. Since the remainder is 0 and the identity property of addition says it's going to stay the same, I don't really need to add the 0. Okay. So here, 9 times a placeholder is a placeholder, and then 9 times 2 is 18. Here I have the identity property of multiplication, which means when you multiply by 1, it stays the same. 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 2 is 2. It stays exactly the same. So let's see, 180, that matches my dividend up here, so it checks. Now I don't pretend to multiply, I actually do. And then here, 20, that matches my dividend up here, so that checks. So I've proven that my numerator is definitely 1, and my denominator is definitely 9. Let's go ahead and fill in our data collection page. Okay, trimester 1, week 5. Today is 9/5/19. And our fraction for today is 1/9. Let's go ahead and get out our number line. We did groups of 20. Groups of 20. So here we go over to the first line. 1 out of 9 completed, 9 groups of 20 days. There's 9 sections here. If we look, we have an equivalent fraction at 10, at 5, at 4, at 2. So 2, 4, 5, 10 are all common factors, but 20 was our greatest common factor. And then here at 20, 180ths. So 1/9 is our equivalent fraction in lowest terms or simplest form. Let's go ahead and put your number line away, erase your worksheet, and thank you for joining me.